We already divided everything, my aunt announced. You weren't invited for a reason? After Grandma died, I found out about the will reading through a mistaken group text from my cousin. Don't tell Amanda, it said. I'd been the only one visiting Grandma for 2 years, bringing groceries, staying through her chemo appointments, but apparently I wasn't real family. The backstory makes this even worse. When Grandma first got sick, I was working 2 jobs just to keep my apartment, but every Tuesday and Thursday, I'd drive 40 minutes to her house with homemade soup and her favorite magazines. I'd clean her bathroom, organize her pills, sit with her during the bad days when she couldn't keep food down. Meanwhile, Aunt Carol was posting Facebook photos at fancy restaurants. Uncle Tony was too busy with work to visit more than twice a year. My cousins treated Grandma's house like a free hotel when they needed somewhere to crash between jobs, but when neighbors asked about family support, suddenly they were so involved in her care. The worst part, they'd been planning this exclusion for months. I later found out they had a separate family group chat called estate planning, where they'd been dividing up Grandma's belongings like she was already dead. Carol wanted the china set. Tony claimed the antique furniture. Madison had her eye on Grandma's jewelry collection. They'd even walked through her house with sticky notes, marking what they wanted. While I was there helping Grandma shower and making sure she ate her meals, they were literally cataloging her possessions behind her back. I showed up to the lawyer's office anyway. The whole clan was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins who'd ghosted Grandma for years. They were dressed in black like they were auditioning for a funeral commercial, whispering among themselves with fake, somber expressions. What are you doing here? Aunt Carol snapped, looking genuinely shocked. We already handled everything. We told you the family meeting was canceled. The lawyer, Mr. Reed, looked confused, his gray eyebrows furrowed. Handled what? Nothing should be distributed yet. The will hasn't even been read. Uncle Tony stepped forward, puffing out his chest like some kind of alpha peacock. She wasn't invited for obvious reasons. We're the actual heirs. Amanda barely knew Mom. She only started coming around when Mom got sick. That stung worse than a slap. I'd probably spent more hours with Grandma in her final 2 years than all of them combined in the previous decade. I knew she liked her coffee with exactly 2 sugar cubes. I knew she missed her late husband most on Sunday mornings. I knew she was terrified of dying alone. That's completely false, I said quietly. I've been visiting Grandma every week for years. Carol rolled her eyes. Oh, please. You were clearly after her money. Mr. Reed frowned, opened the folder with deliberate precision. His hands were steady, professional. That's impossible. Amanda Miller is the only name listed in the will. Dead silence. You could hear the air conditioning humming. Someone's stomach growled awkwardly. What do you mean only name? Carol whispered, her voice cracking like a teenager's. Everything. The house on Maple Street, all investment accounts, the jewelry collection, the car, furniture, family photographs, all to Amanda Rose Miller. My cousin Madison started crying. Ugly, mascara-running tears that left black streaks down her cheeks. Uncle Tony turned purple, then red, then back to purple like a broken traffic light. Someone muttered, "This can't be legal," under their breath. Aunt Maxine, who I'd barely noticed before, suddenly spoke up. She must have manipulated Mom somehow, taken advantage of her when she was vulnerable. Mr. Reed pulled out a sealed letter, his expression growing stern. Your grandmother was very specific about her reasoning. She also anticipated these exact accusations. He handed the letter to me with something that looked like satisfaction in his eyes, like he'd been waiting for this moment. I opened it with shaking hands and read Grandma's familiar handwriting. My dearest Amanda, if you're reading this, then my family has shown their true colors once again. I watched how each of you treated me these past years. Amanda was the only one who loved me without expecting anything back. She saw me as a person, not a piggy bank or an obligation. You worried about me when I was healthy, not just when I was dying. You listened to my stories even when I repeated them for the 100th time. You made me feel like I mattered when the rest of you made me feel like a burden. Uncle Tony was now threatening to contest it, his voice getting louder and more aggressive. Carol was demanding to see mental competency tests, insisting Grandma had dementia. Madison was literally hyperventilating into a paper bag. Sometimes the family that excludes you isn't the family that matters.